Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, y'all. This is your girl, Pastor Ju. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to our morning devotion with Pastor Ju. Happy Monday, happy Monday, happy Monday, everyone. As you all come on in, tap, tap, heart, love, and share with your followers. I don't have much of a voice this morning. I don't have much of a voice, but we're going forward anyway. So, good morning, everyone. Welcome to a morning devotion with Pastor Ju. Today we are going to begin some teaching on idol worship. One of the things that we see, and I usually don't necessarily respond to what's happening in the world as far as like topics. I don't really, I'm not really a trend ministry or a trend preacher. I don't necessarily preach and teach on trends. But what the Lord just keeps impressing upon me that this is not just a trend like we are really seeing in real time um, life happenings, in a way that we may have not seen in a while and a way we've not seen on such a magnified stage, the idol worship. And so we're going to spend a few days on idol worship so we understand just how serious this is spiritually. And this is not to make anyone afraid or to get us afraid. It's really just to understand what's happening beyond just the news that's being reported. Like what does God really say about idol worship? It's something that we hear about a lot. It's something that we as believers we have to confront. But I think it's been a while. I'd have to do some historical study on this. But I think it's been a while that we have seen government, the national leaders create and establish idols and demand of the people to worship them, right? It's giving very much Nebuchadnezzar. It's giving very much Pharaoh. Um, it's giving very much the kings. And so wanted to spend some time because I know we had talked about this yesterday in church, but I wanted to spend some time this week and maybe even next week going through the Bible and some key text on idol worship. Good morning, Miss Bridget. And first let's get started. So as you come on in, tap tap heart love, share out with your followers. Tap tap heart love and share out with your followers. So first let's understand what idolatry and idol worship is, right? So it is the worship of an idol. That as if it is a god, right? It's the worship of any idol, anything, any person, as if it is a god. That's idolatry, right? Um, and it connotes the worship of something or someone other than God, Yahweh, Jehovah, right? So not only is it the worship of things as things and people as though they are a deity or a god, but um, it's also attempts to worship of something other than the God of our faith, Jehovah. Um, and in the broader context, it's the worship of a God of of God outside of the Abrahamic faiths, right? So the Abrahamic faiths are Judaism, Christianity, Islam, Baha'i faith, right? And so those are like the Abrahamic faiths. And so idolatry and idol worship is is the move to worship anything that is outside of that, anything that we want outside of our God of our faith, Jehovah, right? Um, Good morning, as you all coming in, tap tap, our love. We're teaching a little bit this week on idol worship, and the Bible is full of idol worship. The Bible is full of idol worship. Um, and one of the things that God warns us about and speaks to repeatedly, and we're going to get into that, is idol worship. We are living in a time right now where what we're witnessing with the administration is an in your face direct move to establish an idol before us to worship, to venerate. And anyone that would not bow down to this, we're seeing people literally lose their jobs, be punished. I'm going to say that. Be punished, right? Now, we have read these stories and texts in the Bible, so when we get into the texts and stories, they're going to be familiar. But what I don't think we're familiar with in this current generation is when we see the establishment, the establishment establish idols, right? We've not seen that in a while. We've not seen that. I'm not saying it's never happened, but in the way that things are being established. And as believers, we have to see these things and ask God, what are you showing? What are you saying? What is this? Right? This is the hour of the believer to really begin to fast and pray. So what I want to encourage everyone before we get into this, I want to encourage you in this season as believers. We're seeing idol worship. The government is establishing idol worship, right? Idolatry in the form of worshiping an individual, worshiping a movement, worshiping the leadership, and anyone that would come against that, people are being punished for it. It's very much giving Nebuchadnezzar, right? And so where we are is not for us to be afraid, but it is for us to be prayerful and attuned and paying attention. Right? It's not for us to be afraid, but it is for us as believers. So first and foremost, I want to encourage, this is the first thing I want to encourage all of you. As you all coming in, share out, all 5 of y'all, 6 of y'all, please share out with your followers. In this season, I want to encourage you to seriously take heart your prayer life. Number one, and we're going to get into the scripture in a minute, but I want to, as we establish this study on idolatry and idol worship, people are being punished. Absolutely. It's giving very much Nebuchadnezzar. It's giving very much Pharaoh. It's giving very much how we've seen in text in the Bible. So this is very biblical. We're living in biblical times, very much so, right? Because it is in the Bible. And biblical in the sense of not because it's what God wants, biblical in the sense of it does appear in the Bible, right? We see this in the Bible. And so I want to encourage you all to share out with your followers. Listen, it's giving very much Nebuchadnezzar. So what we have to be as believers is very prayerful. I'm going to need y'all to put some names in the chat, share out with your followers, all the things. We definitely have to be prayerful. Like we have to, I'm not going to tell you what you have to do. I want to implore you, encourage you. Hey, Jason. That to really take to heart your prayer life. Why prayer? Why should we deepen our prayer life at a time like this? Because it will be in a deepened prayer life that God will give you strategy. God will give us as individuals and as a church, as believers, strategy. Like, what do I do at a time like this? And we've seen that biblically where those who were confronted with idolatry and idol worship, the thing that they did was to pray, right? And we're not saying prayer as the action. We're saying prayer to receive strategy, right? Strategy is not going to come from our intellect alone. Strategy will not come from our knowledge alone. Strategy for this season has to come from the Lord. So I want to encourage you to every day be very prayerful. As you all come on and tap, heart, love, share out with your followers. Like, take to heart your prayer life. and really ask God for strategy. Strategy for your home, strategy for your family, strategy for your community, strategy for your church, strategy. This is the hour that the church has to be about prayer and prayer for strategy. That's number one. Number two, we're gonna together deepen our understanding of idolatry and idol worship, as so much of our Bible addresses that. A lot of what even Israel experienced as it relates to God dealing with them was due to idolatry. And so we have to see what does God say about idolatry. So join us every day as we're in this study about idolatry and idol worship. And also, why you want to pray is you. Let me say this before I go to the study part, more to the study part. The other reason why you want to pray is so you don't get caught up, so you don't get swooped up, so you don't get sucked up in it. Not just for clarity and strategy, but so that you don't get sucked up. It's easy to get sucked up because it can appear as something good. It can appear as something right. It can appear as something, well and wholesome, right? It can appear as something, oh, I might want to become a part of this. And so I want to also encourage you to be prayerful so you don't get sucked up and swooped up in it. So you don't get pulled away. Because I can't guarantee everyone that's watching, everyone to watch the replay is strong in the faith. I don't know. Yeah, all the glitter, right? I don't know if everyone is strong. So I'm praying, number one, for your strength, so that your faith is strengthened. But I don't know that. And so I want to encourage you, invite you to pray and help and ask God, ask the Lord to guard your mind and your ears and your eyes and your tongue and your heart. So nothing about what we're seeing pulls you in, sucks you in, pulls you away. Because I don't know where everybody is in their faith journey. And trust me, there are a lot of people that watch this that we don't see comments from. Be very clear about that. The views versus the people that comment is two totally different numbers, right? And so, and also, y'all make sure you share with your followers. Tap, heart, love, share with your followers. So we want to pray, number one, for strategy. We want to pray that we don't get sucked up and caught up. We want to pray for internal faith fortitude. We want to pray that our faith is strong in this season, that we're solid in our faith, solid in our belief. You got to be solid in times like these. You got to be solid in your faith. You got to be so solid that you're able to tell Nebuchadnezzar, do what you got to do. I'm not bowing. I'm not bending. Do what you got to do. Right? Absolutely. That we're not vulnerable, or so vulnerable that we bow, that we give in. And I said this in church. Yes, if you missed the message yesterday for church, go back and watch it. We said this. So we want to pray during this hour. We want to pray strategy. Pray that we don't get pulled away, sucked away. Pray to guard all of our senses, right? And pray that we are solid in our faith. God help me be solid in my faith. Solid in what I believe. It's Jesus and Jesus alone. It's Jesus and Jesus alone. No, it can't be Jesus and some of this. No, it's Jesus and Jesus alone. Right? Because it's giving this season we're right now, it's giving very much idolatry, idol worship. It's giving very much Nebuchadnezzar. Right? So that's big point number one. Big point number two is study. So we're going to do that together. We're going to get on here every morning as close as 6:45 as possible. And we're going to spend some time in our morning devotion talking about idolatry and idol worship. Yes, Beth, it is. Thank you. To handling our media, digital ministry. Yes, Beth, it is. This is day one. So we concluded grace last week. Wherever we ended with grace, that was last week. Um, Number two, because I want you as a church, as followers, and so share it with your followers, share it with your friends, let people know um, to join us as we study about idolatry and idol worship. And we're going to do a little bit at a time. I'm going to recommend some books and some readings. Um, and then that's big point number two. So we understand, because a lot of times people have said things like, "Oh, idol worship," and not really understanding what it is, what it looks like. And I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this. This thing with CK, I don't even want to say his name, but y'all know what I mean when I say CK. This thing with CK and DT, y'all know what I'm talking about. This isn't the first time that we've seen this. We've seen it in other areas, and we're going to talk about it later as we go through this mini series. I'm gonna call it a mini series, um, because we've seen it before. So it's not the first time, and we're gonna clock some ways we've seen it before later as we get into it. But today, I just want to establish. I want to establish. Um, so that's big point number two is part of what we have to get some clarity about. Thank you, Beth, for sharing that. Is for us to understand, because you cannot stand against and combat something you're not necessarily clear about. And I want to encourage you all to share with your followers. Put some names in the chat. So we're going to study idolatry, idol worship. We're going to do a mini series here, live devotional, so you can understand, because understanding is the beginning. Knowledge is the beginning. And big point number three is so we not so we, and when I say we as believers, um, can stand on our square. It's hard to stand on your square if your faith isn't strong, if you don't know what you're talking about. It's hard to stand on your square. I want to see you stand on your square in this season. I want to see you on the other side of this season, because we do know Nebuchadnezzar has a day, right? Nebuchadnezzar has a day. So that's why we're not afraid. So this is to take the fear out of it. This is to remove all fear, all trepidation, but to give us the ability to stand. I want you to be able to stand. I want to help you to stand in this season. Stand bold, stand strong, stand firm. The Bible speaks of being steadfast and firmly established, right? And so, but if we are not, if we don't have proper instruction and understanding, it will be hard to stand firm. I don't want the wind of this life in this season to toss you to and fro. My prayer for you is you stand strong. And again, I can't assume anything about everybody that watches a live stream. And some of you might be saying, Pastor, I'm strong in the faith. You might be. I don't know that. And somebody else watching may not be. So this is not, and certainly we're not afraid. We're not afraid. But we have to know how to stand, right? We have to know how to stand and stand strong. Stand firm and be firmly established. Okay. So our first scripture this morning comes out of Genesis 31, verse 19. Genesis 31, verse 19. So Laban has been playing with Jacob. If you go back, Jacob was trying to marry his daughter, one of his daughters. He played with him for a long time. And you got to go back and read Genesis with this story between Jacob and Laban and his desire to marry his daughter. And because Laban was a trickster, he was an evil man, he made it hard for Jacob to marry the daughter. Made it hard. And I'm being light with my words when I say hard. He took the boy through so much. Go back and read the previous chapters before chapter 31. Read the previous chapters where Jacob is attempting to marry one of the daughters of Laban. And Laban plays with him and then tricks him and puts one daughter before the other daughter, and takes money from him. He's extorting him. He's an evil man. He extorts Jacob. He lies to him. He steals from him. He makes him work hard as a laborer. And it comes a time where it's time for Jacob to leave this. Jacob cannot take it any longer, and he prays, and God gives him strength to leave. It's time to go. You cannot stay connected to this. Leave, right? He gets the instruction to leave Laban. Get away from this. Come on, Jason. 14 years. And I want to encourage you to go back and read the previous chapters so you understand what Laban put Jacob through. Jacob was just trying to marry a daughter, and Laban put him through so much, right? Years of toil. Laban was an evil man. And so Jacob finally gets word to leave, to flee Laban, get away from this. This is point number one. You cannot remain where evil persists. You cannot remain in that. You cannot remain in that, right? For those of you that are in situations and circumstances where evil is prevalent, you cannot remain in that. But one of the things that we find out about Laban in verse 19, the text says that as they were packing up, and I'm paraphrasing, read all of 31 for yourself. But as they're packing up and preparing to flee and get away from Laban, Jacob is taking his kids, his wives, the babies, his stuff. Bible says that Rachel, one of Laban's daughters, packs up her father's gods, household gods. It was common then for those who were caught up in idolatry, idol worship, to have household gods, deities. She packs up her father's gods. Now, there's a lot of speculation why she does this. We don't really find out why she does this. But we're going to talk about some things related to why she might have taken her father's household gods. In other words, in her father's house, Laban, who was an evil man, so there's connection here, right? This man is evil, and he's an idol worshiper. He's got household gods, and she takes them. We don't know why she takes them. There's speculation, but there's a few things we want to connect. The evil that Laban, enacted upon Jacob, right? Okay, no problem, Miss Jewel. Right, definitely, Jason. Right, some connections. Laban is an evil man, but we also find out he's an idol worshiper, right? He's got household gods. So this connection is very real, right? And it's also why Jacob has to get up out of there. You got to get up out of there. Where there is idolatry, evil, idol worship in your environment, that stuff got to go, or you got to go, right? You got to get rid of it. It cannot persist. It cannot remain. And God tells him, get out of there. It's a household full of idol worship. Get out of there. And we don't know why Rachel takes the idols, but let's dive into a few common thoughts. Number one, she had been raised with these idols. So maybe there was attachment for her with these idols. They were household idols. She would have been raised around them. Maybe there was attachment. Also, her dad believed these household idols had power. So when she flees with her husband Jacob, she may have been taking them to take what he perceived as his power source. She might have been, as her way of saying, well, you think these gods have power, so I'm going to take them from you and render you powerless. And because she's not an idol worshiper, she doesn't necessarily use them to worship. Most scholars think it's because she's attempting to remove her father's power or his perception of power, right? He perceived these household gods to have power. So most scholars lean towards that she was taking the gods. You think these things have power? I'm going to take them, and to basically render him powerless. Because she doesn't worship them. She doesn't do anything with them. You know, she doesn't establish them. She doesn't go and take them and worship them. She, as a matter of fact, when her father comes looking for them, because at later on, Laban comes chasing them down. He's looking for his idols, and he searches everyone. And Jacob, not knowing Rachel has taken the idols, says, "You can search whatever you want to search. If you find them, you know, whatever you want to do to the person that's taken them, because I didn't steal from you. I didn't take nothing from you." She hides them. She hides them away. So she's not trying to worship these things, but potentially, possibly wanting to take her father's power because he saw them as a source of power. But this also, again, what's important to pay attention to is God tells Jacob, get away from there. Get away, flee, get out. And I want to encourage all of us as we are seeing this era where we are seeing idols being established in front of our faces. And people are being punished if they're not bowing down to this establishment. Is to get away, is to understand that God calls for separation. Detach from it. Get away from it. He gives Laban, get out of there, Jacob. Because this is evil. This is not okay. And Jacob gets his clearance to get away from that, to detach from it. And I want to invite some of you all, as you think about idolatry and idol worship, if it's happening in your home, if it's happening around you, get away from it, detach from it. Don't continue to be in spaces where there is idolatry and idol worship happening. Now, what we see happening on a national level, you can't necessarily flee the country. Well, some people have, actually. Some people have left America. Some people are like, I'm not doing it. Hey, Letha, good morning. But where you see these little gods popping up in space and in places, I want to invite you to detach, to get away from it. And as we get more into this study, right, where is God showing you idolatry and idol worship and saying, detach from it, get away from it. Detach from it, get away from it in your personal life. It could be family, it could be friends, it could be people that you care about and like. God is showing us this for a reason. And again, this is not to scare anyone. This is to really say we are in a critical hour. Critical hour. Yep. We have to separate ourselves from the powerless idols. And absolutely, Jason. And when Rachel takes idols, again, we don't know exactly why, but scholars believe it is because her father saw them as power. And so to render him powerless, she takes them from him. She removes them and hides them, tucks them away. But more important, so in addition to that, we have Jacob who gets clearance from the Lord, get away from it, detach from it, get from out of that household. And for any of you that are watching or watching a replay where there is idolatry and idol worship, God might be using this season to help you see even where you might be attached or caught up and saying, get away from it, detach from it, get from around it. Maybe, just maybe, God is also using this season to give all of us a message where this is showing up in your personal life, where this is showing up in your day-to-day life. Get away from it. Move away from it. And, come on, detach is the word of the day. Come on, Letha. Detach from it. Where it is established, detach from it. God gave Jacob grace sometime, but when it was time for him to get away, he had to go. And I like what Letha said, detach, the word there. Where God is saying for you to detach from idolatry and idol worship, I want to encourage you. This is a good season to start making your move. this is a good season to begin to detach from it. It's a good time, right? It's a good time to begin to detach from it. So again, we said we want to push 3 things. Number 1, pray. Prayer will give us strategy. Prayer will give us what God is saying. Number 2, study to understand. That's why we're doing this. I'm going to call it a mini series on idolatry and idol worship. And number 3, stand. Be prepared. This is an hour where we got to take a stand. Declare what our stance. Either you are for God or you are not. We got to be willing in this season to take a stand. And let our stand for the Lord be our stand for the Lord. Amen. And where God is showing you idolatry and idol worship in personal life, with friends, start praying about detachment. Start asking, and it may require some strategy. It may require you to establish some strategy. That's fine. Some of you may have to develop an exit strategy. That's fine. But it's time to begin to detach from it in your personal life, in your day-to-day life. Yeah, it might be time to remove those household gods. It might be time to remove those household gods. It might be time to remove those household gods. Amen. So, hang with us these next couple of weeks as we dive into this mini series on idolatry and idol worship and what God is saying to us and to the church. Amen. All right, y'all have an amazing day. Thank you for putting notes in the chat. Our digital ministry folks are going to be uploading these lessons also to YouTube. So as we build upon them, the series will be also in YouTube. Okay? And if you missed any of our grace series, you can go back and watch that, and it's also on our YouTube. And the reason we're doing that and being very intentional is because Facebook now deletes videos, live stream videos, after 30 days. And so in 30 days, this will disappear. All right? Y'all have an amazing day. Be blessed. And it's good to see you, Jason. Love y'all. Peace.